Paging Aitken Robertson to courtroom number 2. The jury is back with a verdict. Members of the jury, how do you find the accused? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty on all accounts, Your Honor.
Welcome to Legally Speaking on the Aitken Robertson YouTube channel. I'm your host, Melanie van Orde, licensed paralegal, and today I'm excited to be joined by a fellow licensed paralegal here at Aitken Robertson, Jamie Sanfleven, and we'll be diving into the crucial roles of the Ministry of Transportation, the License Appeal Tribunal, you as the appellant, and the involvement of medical doctors in the appeal process. So stay tuned for an informative discussion that will help you navigate the complexities of appealing a decision related to your driver's license. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Melanie. Thanks for having me.
It's a big pleasure. So, Jamie, please explain to us what are the roles of these different role players in the LAT?
Certainly. And it may seem like some of it is fairly obvious, but there are some things to understand about the different roles. An understanding of those roles can be an advantage in the process. It's certainly a disadvantage to misunderstand the roles of each role that everyone has to play. So let's start with you, the appellant. Well, of course, nobody knows about this issue but you and an MTO computer at the beginning. So if you're watching this video, you're in step in the right direction. If you make a call to myself or another licensed individual with experience in the process, that's another great step in the right direction. But you have to get your appeal in front of the License Appeal Tribunal after you have done certain, I'm not going to say due diligence, but certain things have to happen in order to make, again, your appeal have a better chance of. So we've had in other episodes, we've talked about, are you ready to file an appeal? So you would take all those steps, make sure you've tried to satisfy what the MTO is looking for, make sure that you've made every attempt to do that, submitted them the information, and you have their response and that they've denied it, okay? If they haven't denied it, then congratulations, you don't have to go through any more of this process, you're relicensed. But if you have that letter saying, thank you for getting us the information, we still think you should be suspended, and now you're talking to me, you're right where you should be, or another licensed individual. So your role is to tell the License Appeal Tribunal why you're suspended and your position on why you feel that you do not have a condition that would affect your ability to safely drive, and why you should be reinstated. It is not the role of the appellant to really question the entire inherent unfairness of the process. I only knew this doctor for a half an hour before they decided they knew all about my condition. That's very common. It's not for the License Appeal Tribunal to reprimand that doctor in any way. Really, if you tell them that, all you're really saying is you don't understand key things about this process and key things about the major decisions to be made. So your role is just facts. They suspended me for this reason. I always think that it helps you to say, I completely agree. I should have been suspended, but now these are the steps that I've done to make sure that this will not be an issue going forward. That is how an appellant can put themselves in the best position. And that's how they can best fulfill their role in the process. Move on to the case conference stage, as we've talked about in other episodes, an overview of the process. The next thing is the case conference stage. In the meantime, from the submission of the appeal and the case conference, I work with my clients on starting to collect the medical evidence that I know the MTO is going to want to see, and I know is going to help us should it come to a hearing in front of the tribunal. But at that case conference, many clients ask me, should I appear? The answer I always give them is yes, because I think it has value, because it gives you a peek behind the curtain It'll allow you to meet some of the people involved with this decision that's so important to you and sort of give you an idea how a hearing might run, the look and feel of a hearing if it came to that, which again, the more information and knowledge you have is an advantage in being successful in getting your license back and perhaps avoid the need for that here. I always tell them you don't have to say anything, but you can. If you want to say anything, make sure it's questions to better understand the process. It's not, again, it isn't your opportunity to unload and say, well, how unfair it was that the doctor did this or that the policeman did that. That is not who is in front of the License Appeal Tribunal. It is you. So if you want to say anything, put it in their mind that this condition does not exist. I understand why I'm in the middle of this process, but I'm taking it seriously, and I fully expect to be relicensed at the end of it. That if you want to say anything, it's something to give them that idea. In most cases, it's that you get the most value out of listening and just making sure that you know how a hearing might look and feel. At a hearing, that is your chance to really get involved as the appellant, because of course the MTO is going to submit their information, which their submissions and evidence, which is going to be that initial report that got you suspended in the first place, perhaps anything else that we've submitted to them and been unsuccessful in getting the license reinstated before a hearing, any new evidence that came up from any of those doctor visits, anything like that. We cross-examine that, but in a very subtle way, because the MTO's agent isn't the doctor that wrote the report. So there's limited information or is limited things to actually cross-examine them on. It's not their evidence, it's someone else's. It was to get ahead of myself. At the hearing, the appellant is very involved. I will lead them through a series of questions and direct examination in order to highlight the information that we want to bring up. How many times a day were you drinking before you were suspended? How did you make that change? Are there any supports in your life to make sure that you won't relapse? Various questions like that that can give all to paint the picture for the License Appeal Tribunal that a condition no longer exists that would affect your ability to safely drive. Of course, those questions are different depending on what type of issue we're dealing with. Diabetes, heart condition, they're different type of questions. What changes have been made, though, to allow the License Appeal Tribunal to safely say, yes, this suspension should be lifted. So let's go to the role of the MTO. Because this is in front of an administrative tribunal, it employs semi-judicial procedure, meaning it is still somewhat of an adversarial system that we have in this country. The MTO their mandate going into the matter after receiving notice of appeal is to have the suspension upheld and confirmed. They've got nothing against the appellant, not as a person. They understand how important it is to have a license. They want everybody that meets the requirements to have and maintain a license. But it is their job to vigorously try to have that suspension upheld and confirmed. It can be an advantage to my clients if they understand that, so that there's no, during a hearing or during a case conference, there's no apprehension of sort of discord between them and the MTO's representative. Because again, that can paint the picture that you don't really understand what's going on. And we really want to paint the picture that you were educated in this matter. That's going to give you your best chance. So the MTO will say things like, I put it to you, sir, that you do have a drinking problem, that you do have hypoglycemic unawareness, and would be catastrophic if you're behind the wheel. They will say things like that. And it is simply their job to do so. It is also their job to submit any medical information you get to them to their internal medical review department, and they can actually make a decision prior to a hearing to reinstate your license. So in some ways, they're on your side in that regard. Okay, if you can get them the right information at the right time, you can avoid a hearing, get your license back early, and it's all because you played nice with the MTO. So the role of the License Appeal Tribunal, and this is important because, of course, they're listening to the dispute over the license between the appellant and the Registrar of Motor Vehicles, the MTO. So as I said, they do employ semi-judicial procedure in which both sides present their evidence and then they decide. But unlike a courtroom, where you have a decision maker and a judge or justice of the peace that passively listens to the information, sometimes they may ask a clarifying question, but for the most part, they're not involved. In a License Appeal Tribunal hearing, the decision makers are very involved. Sometimes you may have up to 4 of them, and they'll go through as a panel and say, Dr. Smith, do you have any questions? And they will go through a line of direct examination questions with the appellant, with even the registrar, to understand the registrar's position and be very actively involved in the process. And that's very, very different from courtroom. And preparing my clients for the questions that they can expect from the MTO is actually very easy. Because like I said, the MTO is always coming from the perspective that they want this suspension upheld or confirmed. The License Appeal Tribunal, who are made of medical doctors for the most part, I have more of a difficult time predicting what they're going to want to know, because their level of knowledge of some of the subject matter is very, very diverse, and it's very, very deep. And sometimes they, like I said, you've got a panel of 4 doctors, so each one will ask a different question. So over time, I've sort of gotten a sense of the type of stuff that they want to know. They're going to want to know what supports, again, do you have that prevent relapse? They will very much home in on timelines. So we have to have that down as the appellant. I mean, so now you said you were drinking, or sorry, you had this issue from this time to this time, but then you saw a doctor for how many months, and when you were released, and how long did you see them after that, and at what frequency? They very much like to nail down everything that happened in a specific time span. And I do my best to prepare my clients for that. At the end of the day, at the end of a hearing, they will make a decision. Those decisions can take 4 days to come out. They can take 4 weeks to come out. And they prepare you for that at the beginning of the hearing in terms of the type of resources and time they can take to make a decision. And that is an overview of the various roles within the parties in the License Appeal Tribunal process.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And thank you to everyone else for joining us on the Legally Speaking Aitken Robertson YouTube channel. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, take care. Thank you for tuning in to Legally Speaking, proudly brought to you by Aitken Robertson Criminal Defence. We represent clients facing criminal charges all over Ontario, providing you with legal support and dedicated advocacy. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more content, please like and subscribe to our channel. For more information, visit our website. We also offer free books on various types of criminal charges, which you can request on our website or by using the QR codes on your screen now. For legal assistance, call us today or visit our website to request a meeting with one of our experienced lawyers or licensed paralegals. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Legally Speaking.